And I'm so grateful for that, you know, and to also realize the ʻāina is teaching them right now as well. Like they're being raised on a farm. I was not raised on a farm with the connection that they currently have with their food and with their community, and this deeper level of connection to Mother Earth. And they don't even know it yet, you know, they're just like in it. But to watch them go out and eat popolo berries and pick poha berries and, Dad, let's pick cacao, you know, it's just, that's really what I feel like is so rewarding at this time of being a father, is that my work with the ʻāina is now providing for my keiki.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's like, what is that saying? Like, you don't plant a tree for yourself, it's for like the next generation or something like that. So now your kids are reaping the rewards of the seeds that you planted back then.
Totally.
And they're going to keep on doing that for, you know, their keiki in the future and your whole family. And
I pray that.
I just think that's like the coolest thing ever. And as we're talking, I'm like realizing all these things in myself too. It's like, you know, you went on your music journey, your gardening journey, all of this, and it relates to what you're doing now with, you know, taking care of the ʻāina. Now you're taking care of kids. For me, like I just, a year, 2 years ago, I said, I don't know if I want kids. And now that I'm thinking like, oh, maybe because I don't want the responsibility. It's like how I'm not into any ʻāina work yet because maybe I'm not ready for the responsibility. I'm not ready to like take that leap. So I wonder in the future, if my mind ever changes, I will start, like, something will shift, whether that's even just like owning a pet. Because I also don't want pets. My girlfriend wants a pet. But I think I just like as little responsibility as I can have.
I get that. Yeah.
So I'm just curious to like look back, to think back about this episode in a couple of years and see how things change. If, you know, maybe I'm just like, I think I should start growing my own food. I think maybe I'll have a kid, you know, so it's just cool. I'm just like reflecting as you're talking about it.
And as you're saying that, I'm thinking back to chapters in my life where I definitely wasn't ready for kids, you know. I didn't have pets yet. There's a certain progression that happened in like from that backyard garden that we had created. You know, we ended up getting 3 chickens was to start. You know, at that time I had also met like the love of my life, my partner Kelly, who's, you know, who we're now in Waimanalo together raising our babies. And this is like 15 years ago when we, you know, decided that we were going to be together and start this lifestyle. And at that time, I think we got chickens first. It was like 3 chickens. And then we ended up finding a dog on the side of the road, Ipo, starving pit bull. Kelly's very much so animal activist, one cares for animals. She's like, we're going to save that dog. I was like, starving pit bull, are you sure? And man, they just had such a connection. We took Ipo in. And I named her first, so I was like, I named her like a week later, so I guess she's ours. And so yeah, this evolution of like all of a sudden, you know, plant babies, animal babies taken care. I still wasn't ready for children, you know, at that time, and there was a certain moment. I think it was when we finally locked down where we're at right now with the ʻāina we're on. We did that right before our baby girl, who's 3.5 now, came in. We locked in that long-term lease. But yeah, it was like right around 2020 COVID time where we just really were like, okay, well, let's welcome that in.
It's cool that it happened around 2020 because that's a time for a lot of us where it slowed down.
Right.
So you were able to just like focus on that, right? No distraction. You couldn't really do anything else but stay at home, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
It was like wild because we had, you know, so many people coming to help us at that point at the farm. A lot of activation on the Thursday volunteer days. We had different community groups coming to the farm, and then everybody just stopped coming. Yeah. And it was like Kelly and I were just at the farm like, all right, let's get back to like what we can do within ourselves. And really like with what it comes down to is like when something like that happens, I want to be on the farm, you know. And I was grateful to be in the spot that I was. People were reaching out at that time wanting mulch, like realizing that growing food, you know, if the system's shutting down, it's like, what are we going to do? We got to go to the farms and got to start planting our own, you know? Yeah.
I think during that time was when people started to get into gardening and all this like sustainability stuff, because once the toilet paper was starting to run out at Costco, I think that's when everybody was like, this might be a bigger problem than we think.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot of lessons during that time.
Mm-hmm.
When did you, or how did you secure that spot in Waimanalo? Do you live there now, or at the same spot, or?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So it's like it's Department of Ag land. At the time, we were growing at a friend's place down the road in Waimanalo, and she had an acre of land, and we were basically doing this kind of exchange where I would basically do her yard and I would farm half of the land. It was great. It worked out really well for the time that we had it. And at that time, there was this collective cooperative that was created called Friends with Farms. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of us going to the farmers markets together. And this woman, Shelley, and her husband, Gabe, they had expressed they had this farm, and they had 2 leases next to each other. And at the time, we went there, and they opened up a greenhouse to us, which we started growing tomatoes in, and these bays for doing soil. We wanted to build our own soil. Mm-hmm. So it was basically kind of getting started there. And there was a house on the property, but one of her family members was in it. You know, as life would have it, you know, divine timing, it became available. We moved in there. They realized they couldn't handle that upper piece. Her husband, Gabe, had passed away a few years later, and she basically was like, I'll sell you this upper piece. So it was kind of divine timing, really, because some of those leases don't come up very often. And, you know, I'm really just at that point, you know, you're looking for, when you want to farm, you know, the availability of ʻāina is very limited, like with having a good piece to just do what you want on. So really for me, it's just about putting food in the ground and having a stable place to do that. And luckily this place came available, and it was the next opportunity to step into, you know, mm-hmm. And it has a house on it. So yeah, and to lock that in before we had children was like huge. So, awesome. You know, I see myself there raising the babies. Who knows what the next chapter is moving forward, but really I just want to raise my family with ʻāina connection and be able to have a space where I can continue planting for the community.
Yeah, I can't wait till I'm a little bit more healthy and I can come to one of the volunteer days. My girlfriend said she went a couple of years ago, and she loved it. So yeah, maybe in a couple months we'll see how my body's doing.
ʻāina, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we got that. Yeah. We'll get into that soon. But I want to know why do you think more people don't do what you're doing? Why do you think more people don't decide to get into growing their own food? Myself as well. Is it just because of the lack of resources, accessibility, knowledge, laziness? Right. I think with a lot of things that are good for us, we tend not to do. You know, like, okay, eating this cheeseburger isn't the best for us, but we still do it, you know? If I want to be healthy, I have to exercise. Not all of us exercise, you know? Mm-hmm. Well, what is it about us that we just don't decide to do these things?
Yeah, you know, sometimes you gotta... it's not the normal thing, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to break the norms sometimes of like what society is claiming that we need to do as a steady thing. And at that time, you also got to follow your passions. So creating this lifestyle wasn't something anyone else was telling me to do. You know, it was definitely my own choice and a self-discovery of like, is this what I want to do? Like, is this something I can step into and really feel like I had to find it out for myself, you know, and I was feeling called to it. So I heeded that call, you know, I went for it. And I think that's what's unique to my situation with it. Whatever my scenario was to get me to that point, to feel called to the ʻāina, is a unique connection that I have with Mother Earth right now. It's unique for each person, you know, their ʻāina connection, you know, and hopefully there's a little inspiration that will draw you to the ʻāina at a certain point. Like everybody can have that ʻāina connection. But I wasn't totally sure about what I was doing when I started doing it. But once I started doing it, once I started growing food and reaping the rewards of what it means to be a farmer, you know, health is wealth, you know, and seeing what it was doing for my my mind, body, soul was truly a gift. And I was like, oh, you know, I want to continue doing this. And like, this is no longer just something I want to do. This is now a lifestyle. This is a personal lifestyle choice that I'm going to embody and really step into. And so I think with my unique scenario, whatever it was that called me to that point, I just like went all in.